台湾将成为一个大都市。
台湾未来发展大动脉。
坐高铁台北到高雄只要90分钟。
这将是台湾与国际接轨的一次重大建设。
我们有勇气接受挑战，实现我们共有的梦想。
近5000亿总投资金额，现今世界最大的 BOT 交通投资计划——台湾南北高速铁路，将是继10大建设后最重要的基础建设。这条纵贯南北的交通动脉，让全台湾生活零距离，合而为一。今日台湾交通在地狭人稠、车多路窄与载客量等诸多条件的限制下，民众承受着高成本的交通生活。而高速铁路具备安全、运能大、用地少、省能源、低污染的优势，将可有效解决台湾西部走廊拥塞的交通运输，促进区域均衡发展。台湾高速铁路由台北车站至高雄左营，全长约345公里，营运时速可达300公里。台北到高雄只要90分钟，将可整合北、中、南3大都会区，成为一个巨型都会带。台湾高铁计划系采用由民间投资兴建、营运，并于特许营运期满后移转给政府的 BOT 模式，为目前全世界最大的 BOT 计划。台湾高铁公司有信心，确实以最高品质与效率，如期完成这项划时代的交通建设。生活签是台湾高铁通车营运后的新生活概念。高铁计划在沿线共设置12个车站，透过站区开发及周边特定区开发计划，有效结合地方资源，繁荣沿线地方都市。同时，进一步整合各沿线都市的联络交通，构成绵密的交通网，大幅缩短城乡差距，将台湾西部串成一个完整的生活共同体，共享高水准的生活品质。高铁不仅是一条交通与经济发展的动脉，更是一条文化动脉。高铁在兴建的同时，也积极参与各地人文及生态保育工作，希望能在建设的同时，也能协助推广台湾丰富的人文特色。高铁计划预定在94年底完成，包含5大工程要项。其中土建工程全长约330公里，已于89年3月起全面动工。而核心机电系统也已选定日本新干线700系列的改良型。高铁计划各主要工程均采国际标方式进行，目的在透过国际工程团队与本土营建业的交流，确保施工品质， 同时进一步有效提升我国营建工程技术与管理水准。现有公共运输交通工具面临许多问题亟待解决。对于这些问题，高铁计划在规划之初就将其列为重点项目。台湾高铁所采用的新干线700改良型列车，宽敞的空间及舒适的配备，让所有旅客享有最安全、便捷、舒适的高水准服务。车站设施规划方面，除将提供最便利的自动化定位购票系统，更进一步设计多元化的休憩与购物空间，让旅客即使在候车时刻，都享有最轻松愉快的心情。在班次的安排上，未来密集的运量，系统单向发车能力最大将可达每小时15班次。预估每日载客人数每年平均成长2.6%。2005年，台湾交通即将迈入全新的里程碑，高铁计划将为台湾带来崭新风貌，使台湾南北成为一个共同生活圈。同时，高铁计划串联许多商业、科技的发展重镇，将可进一步有效整合全台湾经济资源，提升国家整体竞争力，加速推动台湾前进的脚步，让台湾经济再次起飞。
300多年前，一批批中国大陆沿海居民，怀抱着对未来的憧憬，离开穷困的家乡，渡过号称无风3尺浪的台湾海峡，冒着被海水灭顶，以及与岛上土著为领土搏斗的危险，为自己开疆辟土，为家人寻求更好的生活环境。台湾的故事就这样展开了。在唐山过台湾的移民还没有来到之前，岛上各地其实已经散居着9大族的原住民。他们来台的时间更早，其中有部分的语言和东南亚的一些古老部落相通。历史学家认为，台湾的原住民和南岛语族息息相关。热情又勤奋的原住民已经拥有简单的造船技术，可以在港口附近航行。但是真正依赖的还是最原始的步行。各族间有自己的部落仪式和治理制度，原本都相安无事。但是汉人陆续渡海迁移，不可免的生存战争于是展开。汉人在人多势众下取得了平原沃土，原住民则退居山上。自此，垂直的交通开始热络起来。因为原住民需要将他们的货物运到平地与汉人交易。17世纪，来台汉人大约有5000人。男耕女织，开垦着充满希望的未来。但是生存的战争并没有因此而停下脚步。1624年，荷兰人与西班牙人先后来到南台湾和北台湾。当时荷兰人的殖民帝国也是第一个在台湾建立政权的国家。荷兰人为了能将岛上的物资运出，开始有了点状发展与港口的兴建。安平与淡水是南北2大港口。那时候最热门的商品是台湾的蔗糖、鹿皮和硫磺，行销到日本、波斯甚至欧洲。在这种重商主义之下，台湾开始慢慢走向海洋文明的发展路线。移民虽然不断地从大陆远渡重洋到台湾，但是事实上，那时候清朝政府对台湾是实行海禁的。所有从正规管道来台湾的先民都是只身一人，他们不能携带家眷，因为怕他们不再回大陆。但越是禁止，偷渡和海盗就越是猖獗。海禁不但没有影响到台湾的海上贸易，反而让台湾沿海成为海盗的根据地。17世纪初，中国南方出现了一位安内攘外逐走荷兰人的传奇人物郑成功。郑成功在1661年率领350多艘战船围攻安平港。在炮火不断轰击下迂回前进。成功登陆后，还严词拒绝了荷兰请求退兵的10万两银子。郑成功正式地将荷兰势力逐出台湾，也建立了台湾岛上第2个政权，同时带来了大量的文武官兵与随行眷属就地开荒。今日的左营地区，也就是当时军垦的营盘田所开发出来的。这个时候，英国的东印度公司也获准在台湾设立商馆，使海上的贸易更为活络。 1884年，法国因为想掌握南中国领土，转而攻打台湾。因为中法战争，使得清朝体认到台湾的重要性，于是先后派遣了重要官员来到台湾，开始有计划地展开台湾的内部建设。铁路大臣刘铭传更是把当时在大陆因为人民迷信怕破坏祖坟风水而拆除的铁轨运到台湾来，前后花了整整6年5个月的时间，克服了千辛万难，总共用了129万两银子，才建造了台湾第一条铁路。这段铁路可以从基隆通车到新竹。当时刘铭传本来打算继续向南开进，但是因为当时的技术无法突破高山地形而作罢。不过刘铭传还是成功地铺设了南北电线，更向华侨招商投资，使得当时的台北府城焕然一新，俨然有小上海之称。在尚未割让给日本之前，台湾已经是中国现代化程度最高的省份。共襄盛举来台湾的不只是中国沿海的居民，或是海上霸权国家。早在刘铭传来台前的10年，一位出生于加拿大的苏格兰拓荒者马偕牧师，也以他宗教的热诚来到了台湾淡水，完成他立志海外宣教的心愿。马偕牧师陆续在淡水设立街医馆、牛津学堂和女子学堂。中法战争时，虽然他的教会也遭到劫难，但是即使在100多年后的今天，我们依然可以在淡水看到已经成为当地居民生活一部分的马偕医院与教堂，缅怀他耕耘过的痕迹与影响。台湾虽然是一个海上小岛，但是最高峰高达3000公尺的中央山脉却把东西两地明显隔开。除了靠海运之外，东西的交通根本就不相通。19世纪末，清朝官员沈葆桢为了开山抚番，进行了大规模的开山造路运动，前后共开辟了北、中、南3条穿越中央山脉的道路，沿途穷山峻岭，地形险恶。修路的官兵在地面铺设石板道，上下坡则做成石阶，遇到山溪就架设桥墩，同时还在重要关卡设置营垒，派兵驻扎。在当时完全没有任何现代化工具，全凭人类的双手和毅力来完成。其中北路也就是今天苏花公路的前身，而中路正是知名的八通关古道，也就是今天新中横公路的前身。清朝开通这3条道路，代表了中央山脉真正的开始穿越相通，也改善了东西原本不通的困境。不过，道路的开通并不表示陆上交通的发达。19世纪末，当时坐牛车从彰化到台北，仍然需要10天左右。但是如果走水路从鹿港到淡水，却只需要2天，陆上交通还是比不上水运来的经济。日本从中国的手中接收台湾，引发的抗争当然不断。日本为了减少因为反抗而产生的损失，当时他们还特别避开了建有炮台的基隆港和淡水港，选择比较没有防备的东北海岸盐寮渔村登陆。但是当地的居民却以50对抗15000，以棍棒抵抗枪炮，留给后代子孙称颂的盐寮精神。 日本人在台湾的统治是把台湾视为日本内地的延伸，而为了有效率地获取台湾物质，如农产和矿产，日本对台湾展开较具现代化的建设规划。台湾雨量不均，河短流急，蓄水不利，尤其是南部地区原本是一片贫瘠，是不可能一年四季3获稻米的。水利专家八田与一透过国际合作，引进了当时先进的土堰堤建造技术，花费了10年，终于成功地建造嘉南大圳，完成嘉南地区3年轮作给水的创举，灌溉了台湾近1/6的农地，彻底改变台湾的农业发展。嘉南大圳至今70年，依然源源不绝。1924年，日本人继沈葆桢开发台湾地形最崎岖的华东地区，宜兰和华东铁路线也于1926年相继通车。南台湾的高屏铁桥旁耸立着纪念碑，这是为了纪念造桥工程师范田丰二。当年兴建时，不断面临台风、豪雨以及溪水暴涨的考验，费时2年。1913年，高屏铁桥正式通车，在当时是东南亚最长的铁桥。日本人在台时期，曾经重新整修刘铭传所留下的铁路，自1899年由新竹开工，并将北部沿海的基隆和南部的高雄整合起来，在1908年完成今天台湾铁路纵贯线的雏形。也使得铁路成为台湾内陆最主要的运输工具。台湾总督府并在1913年开始建设台湾较现代化的公路，从此公路不再是大雨泥泞的牛车路，开始成为运输旅客及货物的城市连接线。经历2次大战的战火摧残，1945年后不用再唱日本歌的台湾，面对的却是台湾光复后所有的交通建设几乎陷于瘫痪的悲惨情境。1949年，国民政府内战失利，退守来台，人民又开始徒手重建家园。1951年，韩战爆发，冷战登场，第一批美元物资运抵台湾。在全省教会的协助下，面粉、奶粉进入贫困的家庭。此时进入台湾社会的不仅仅是美国的经济援助，美式的价值观也悄悄地进入岛上人民的心中。反观50年代的台湾，当时资金并不充足，主要靠农产品输出赚取外汇，而企业家创业的能力也相当有限。然而，越是在困境中，反而更容易看到一些历史关键的突破。面对1965年美元即将结束的压力，一生清廉，人称台湾财经第一硬汉的尹仲荣，身兼央行、财政、外汇等部门的首长。他力排众议，主张开放外汇以及出口导向的政策，成为台湾后来经济发展的历史关键。当时担任经济部长的李国鼎认为，美元结束并不可怕，只要能引进更多的外资来拓展外贸，就能够创造更多的资金来源。李国鼎提出了奖励投资条例， 大量的引进外资，并且设立沿海加工出口区，提出各项的优惠办法。这些远见使得台湾成为第3世界中引进外资最多的国家，用廉价劳力的制造业赚取外汇。台湾制造上千亿的外汇存底，便是由此开始。之后的越南和中国大陆的经济发展，都有借鉴台湾模式的经验。1968年，时任行政院长的蒋经国与当时的交通部长孙运璇，他们体认到要提高台湾整体产业的竞争力，交通发达扮演了绝对关键的重要性。于是政府开始规划穿越中央山脉、打通东西交通的北回铁路，以及发展国际航线的中正机场、台中港，以及铁路电气化和南北高速公路等重要交通建设，成为70年代之后发展的重要起步。但是提出10大建设构想时，正是面临全球爆发石油危机，需向多国银行举债的情况下开工。尤其当时一般人根本买不起车，资深的财经官员多半认为并不可行。当时蒋经国提出“今日不做，明天就后悔”的说帖，坚定执行。当1978年高速公路全线通车的时候，年平均车次就有1000多万车次，不到5年即达饱和，这可以说是建设带动经济的最佳佐证。台中新港与南北高速公路开通，以及民生越建复述，1980年代台湾也就正式进入了现代化的公路时代。1979年的台湾虽然外贸成果辉煌，但是李国鼎与当时的行政院长孙运璇却体认到台湾产业必须从劳力密集转向技术密集，于是开始积极推动科技、资讯、能源等发展方案。目前享誉世界的新竹科学工业园区正是在当时建立的，并且大量扶植与延揽海内外学人。这些措施直接促生了今日台湾称霸世界的机体电路以及电子科技产业，也造就了台湾成为全球第4大电脑产业制造国的地位。进入1990年代，空中的运输加入了与时间赛跑的行列，而在地面上，台湾也经历了3次的运输革命。从1884年的第1条铁路铺设开始，逐渐到1978年高速公路全线通车，再到21世纪初的高铁兴建，可以想见速度的变化将对未来生活动线与城市形态造成巨大的影响。随着时代的推移，现在的台湾已经有2300多万人口。虽然内陆已经有2条高速公路以及密集的航空运输，但是西部走廊已趋近饱和。在一切讲究快速又有效率的时代中，当速度可以换来更大的经济效益时，人民也将有更多的时间去做更多想做的事。于是，台湾的高速铁路就在21世纪诞生。未来，它将把台湾南北交通时间缩短至90分钟的车程，整个台湾城乡将可能形成一日生活圈的环境。各都会发展潜力与变化，也可能因为高铁的开通而重新洗牌。
我更期盼就是未来这2-3年，我看到我们台湾高铁的高速火车，驰骋在西部平原的走廊上，那个时候，当我坐着高速铁路的火车经过新竹这个标段的时候， 我想，我以一个隧道老兵的心境来讲，我现在的一切辛苦都值得了。
This project is another one. It's different than anything I've done before. Normally we do a segmental job. This is full span precast. Very, very big units, 750 ton. This is never boring, always a challenge.
我们测量人员从这个进场的时候看到的是一片原始森林，那等到这个工程整个做完之后呢，它可能是一条非常气势磅礴的这个成果。另外，我们也会感觉到说，那种物换星移我们无形中会对大自然啊，和对我们这片土地有更加的真爱。
特别我自己做的那个范围啊，那个地方一起去看带我的那个家族啊，那个做好以后，我们都可以看，带别人去看啊，然后自己也可以做，可以利用了，那东西很好。
而这个 BOT 的经营方式，是未来10年、15年我们国家里面必须走的一个模式。我希望我们台湾高铁公司的经验，能够给国家带来一个非常良好的示范。
那么他在投资的这个期间里面，他可以6年期间可以增加的这个产值将近3997亿，所以等于说高铁这个工程呢，它在动工的期间、兴建的期间，就会对台湾的国民经济产生很重要的影响。
时代的推演虽不会为人们停留，但是曾经在天地间辛勤耕耘的人，必会留下永志不灭的痕迹。参与高铁的所有人员，也是台湾进入高速时代的见证人，让高铁在台湾扎根，并留待后世共襄盛举。
台湾将成为一个大都市，
台湾未来发展的大动脉。
坐高铁台北到高雄只要90分钟。
这将是台湾与国际接轨的一次重大建设。
我们有勇气接受挑战，实现我们共有的梦想。
An investment worth almost 500 billion NT dollars, the Taiwan High Speed Rail is the biggest BOT project in the world today. This project is the most important public project since the completion of the 10 major national infrastructure projects. This north-south artery, running the length of the nation, will cut the distance between the lives of people, uniting all into one. Today, people have to endure a high-cost transportation system with congested traffic conditions, aggravated narrow roads, dense population centers, and overcrowded public transport. The high-speed rail can boast the advantages of safety, large haul capacity, economical use of land, efficient use of power, and low pollution. The high-speed rail can effectively solve the crowded traffic conditions along Taiwan's western corridor and promote even development across the nation's regions. Operating at speeds of up to 300 kilometers per hour, the Taiwan High Speed Rail stretches 345 kilometers from Taipei to Kaohsiung, speeding passengers between the two destinations in 90 minutes the rail will unify centers in the north, central, and southern regions into one huge metropolis. The Taiwan High Speed Rail project is funded by private investment for construction and operation. After a period of time, it will be transferred to the government under the Build, Operate, Transfer model. The Taiwan High Speed Rail Corporation has confidence that it will complete the epoch-making transport project and deliver a system of the highest quality and efficiency. High-speed metropolis is the new lifestyle of the Taiwan High Speed Rail's operation. There will be 12 stations along the route of the high-speed rail, which will serve development zones around the stations and in the adjacent areas, thus effectively integrating the local resources and bringing added prosperity to the cities along the line. The high-speed rail will at the same time integrate the local transportation systems, becoming the focus of the transport hub and radically shortening the apparent distance between the big cities and small towns. This rail will transform West Taiwan into one long community whose people will be able to enjoy a high standard of living. The Taiwan High Speed Rail isn't just a major transportation and economic artery, it's an artery for culture. During construction of the high-speed rail, we have eagerly sought the involvement of local communities along the route in preserving the local culture and ecology, promoting the numerous and distinct cultural aspects of Taiwan's people. Completion of the Taiwan High Speed Rail construction is scheduled for the year 2005 and includes 5 major engineering projects. Of these engineering tasks, the Civil Works project stretches 330 kilometers and was started in March 2000. The choice for the core electrical and mechanical system was the Japanese-made Shinkansen Series 700T. All of the high-speed rail projects were tendered in accordance with international standards, with the goal of bringing international engineering firms together with local construction firms to guarantee construction quality while effectively boosting the expertise and technology of the local construction industries. The public transportation system today is facing a multitude of problems that desperately need to be resolved. Solving these problems became the goals of the initial planning for the high-speed rail project. The Taiwan High-Speed Rail will be using the Shinkansen Series 700T train, whose cars are roomy and comfortable, providing a high standard of safety, convenience, comfort, and service. Planning for the stations has included the convenience of automated ticketing systems and space for shopping outlets, allowing passengers to browse and relax while waiting for their train. The train is scheduled for a maximum of 15 departures per hour, based on an annual increase in passenger load of 2.6%. Taiwan will enter a new era of transportation in the year 2005, with the high-speed rail bringing with it a new future for Taiwan, transforming the North and South into one combined living zone. At the same time, the high-speed rail will bring with it a string of business opportunities, keys to technological development, and further integrate Taiwan's economic resources. The rail system will bolster Taiwan's international competitiveness, increase the pace of Taiwan's development, and once again make Taiwan's economy take flight.
Over 3 centuries ago, waves of poor Chinese left their hometowns along the coast to risk their lives crossing the treacherous Taiwan Strait. Despite the dangers of fighting against the Aborigines for land, the migrants were determined to build a better life for their family on Formosa, turning a new page in the history of the island. Long before the arrival of the migrants, though, Aborigines belonging to 9 tribes were scattered across the island. Some of them even shared languages of ancient tribes in Southeast Asia. Historians believe that Aborigines in Taiwan were closely related to the Austronesians. Zealous, cordial, and hard-working, the Aborigines had developed the skills for building simple boats to sail around the ports, but walking remained their primary means of transportation. The tribes lived peacefully in their separate ways until the increasing number of Chinese migrants brought about inevitable struggles for survival. Outnumbered by the migrant Hans, the Aborigines were driven out of the fertile plains and into the rugged mountain terrains. Thus, vertical transportation became more important than that across horizontal distances in order to bring their produce and goods to the plains and trade with the Hans. Galileo Galilei was imprisoned for refuting the theory of creation by God with the law of inertia and the heliocentric theory. Dutch expedition fleet arrived in Taiwan. In the 17th century, there were around 5,000 Hans on the island. The men plowed and women wove, building a bright future. But their battle for survival never stopped. In 1624, the Dutch arrived in northern Taiwan and built the first colonial regime on the island. The Spaniards occupied the south. In order for the Dutch to ship natural resources out of the island, the foreigners began to build towns and ports, with Anping and Danshui being the major harbors from which Taiwan's cane sugar, buckskin, and sulfur were shipped to Japan, Persia, and even Europe. This mercantilism gradually led Taiwan toward the development of a seagoing civilization. The number of Chinese migrants continued to rise in defiance of the Qing government's ban on sailing to Taiwan. Those who came via legal channels were not allowed to bring their families to prevent their permanent stay. But the ban only resulted in more rampant smuggling and pirating. Instead of hindering Taiwan's maritime trade, the ban created pirate footholds along the coast. Then, the Dutch were expelled and order restored in northern Taiwan by a military hero from southern China, Zheng Chen-gong. In 1661, Zheng Chen-gong's 350-plus warships braved the unceasing gunfire from the Dutch and landed in northern Taiwan. He refused, on no uncertain terms, the Dutch's offer of 100,000 silver pieces for his withdrawal. The Dutch were finally driven out of Taiwan. Zheng Chen-gong established a second regime on the island, bringing with him large numbers of civil and military personnel and their families to open up land and develop farming. Zuoying, for example, was a military settlement started by Zheng Chen-gong. Around this time, the British Eastern India Company was allowed to set up an office in Taiwan, adding further momentum to the maritime trade. When the Impressionists led a new style of light and nature, the first railway in Taiwan was opened to traffic in 1891. The French attempts in 1884 to control southern China by capturing Taiwan underlined the strategic significance of the island. After the Sino-French War, the Qing government began to systematically develop inland Taiwan. And Railway Minister Liu Ming-chuan spent 6 years and 5 months and 1.29 million silver pieces to build the first railroad in Taiwan, with tracks dismantled from the mainland by villagers who believed the railway would destroy the feng shui of their ancestors' graves. But Liu's plan to extend the Keelung-Hsinchu stretch southward was halted, as the technologies at the time were unable to overcome the mountainous terrain south of Hsinchu. He succeeded, however, in laying the north-south electricity system and setting up a trade agency in Singapore to attract overseas Chinese investors. Under his government, Taipei was transformed into Little Shanghai and Taiwan the most modernized province in China before the island was ceded to Japan. In addition to migrants from coastal China and merchants from the sea powers, foreign missionaries also came to Taiwan. A decade before the arrival of Liu Ming-chuan, Dr. George Leslie Mackay followed in the footsteps of his master by coming to Danshui in northern Taiwan with a message of salvation for all men. Over the years, Dr. Mackay established the Mackay Clinic and the Oxford College for Men and Women. Although his church was devastated during the Sino-French War, his legend continues to this day. For more than a century, the Mackay Memorial Hospital and Church have become an intrinsic part of the local scene, reminding the residents and visitors of his selfless devotion. The island of Taiwan, with less than 14,000 square miles in area, is divided by the Central Range from north to south. Sea transportation was the only way to connect the east coast with the west. In the late 19th century, a Qing official, Shen Baochen, launched an ambitious road construction project in order to exploit the forest and suppress the Aborigines. 3 slabstone paths were built to cut across the Central Range, winding along the hills and over rushing streams. In addition, wood fences and lodges for the workers had to be built, and barracks set up at major outposts. Without any modern tools, the project was completed with a builder's hands and admirable resolution. One of the 3 paths, the north route, was the forerunner of today's Suhua Highway. And the central route is now known as the Batong-Guan Old Path, forerunner of the new Cross Island Highway. The 3 paths signified the beginning of real contacts between the 2 sides of the Central Range, but land transportation remained more difficult and less efficient. In the late 19th century, it took about 10 days to travel by ox cart from Jianghua to Taipei, but only 2 days by water transportation. The first 4-wheel car hit the road in 1886. In 1895, Russian Tsar Nicola II took power. Wars erupted around the world. Taiwan was ceded to Japan in the wake of the Sino-Japanese War. There was widespread resistance from the Taiwanese. To minimize possible losses, the Japanese army kept away from Keelung and Danshui ports that were armed with batteries and chose to land from Yanliao, a fishing village in northeast Taiwan. They were surprised, however, to find some 50 villagers with clubs, plows, and harrows standing up fearlessly against the 15,000 heavily armed troops. Such paragon of patriotism is lauded to this day. Japanese rule in Taiwan was to build the island into a warehouse for their expansion. Thus, modernized development was planned throughout the island to better exploit its agricultural and mineral products. Taiwan faces frequent water shortages resulting from irregular rainfall and short rushing rivers. In southern Taiwan particularly, lack of steady water supply made it impossible to have 3 rice harvests a year. Through international cooperation, Hatta introduced advanced weir building technologies to local workers and engineers persuaded by his sincerity. The completed Jianan Canal irrigated nearly 1/6 of the island's farmland and reshaped its agriculture. For 70 years, water has continuously flowed through the Jianan Canal without end. The Japanese also picked up Shen Baozhen's efforts to open up the backwater eastern Taiwan and completed the Yilan Highway in 1924. 2 years later, the Huadong Line was opened to traffic. Next to the Gaoping Iron Bridge in southern Taiwan stands a monument in memory of the engineer Toyoji Aida. A session of typhoons and floods added to the difficulties of the construction, but the bridge was completed in 2 years and opened to traffic in 1913. It was also the longest iron bridge in Southeast Asia. During the Japanese occupation, the railroad built by Liu Mingchuan was renovated and expanded all the way to Kaohsiung. Beginning in 1899, the decade-long construction laid the foundation for today's north-south railway system, and railways became the primary land transportation for Taiwan. In 1913, construction of modern roads began. Ox cart paths that turned into mud tracks in heavy rains were replaced by highways connecting the cities and transporting passengers and goods. Cairo Conference in 1943. World War II ended in 1945, with Taiwan returning to Chinese rule. The end of World War II in 1945 brought Taiwan back to Chinese rule, but the island was devastated, its transportation almost in complete paralysis. In 1949, the nationalist government in China withdrew to Taiwan, and the rebuilding started anew. In 1951, the Korean War and Cold War started. U.S. humanitarian aid began to arrive. Flour and powdered milk was distributed by churches to poor families across the island. Along with the economic aid came American values, which gradually conquered the population. Taiwan in the 1950s had little capital, and the main earnings came from agricultural exports. Entrepreneurs, too, had little experience. Nonetheless, critical policy decisions helped pave the way for economic kickoff. First, Yin Zhongrong, finance minister in 1965, insisted on a policy of free economy and open foreign exchange when most people feared the end of U.S. aid would spell doom for Taiwan. His export-oriented policy proved to be pivotal for Taiwan's economic development. His successor, Li Guoding, followed in his footsteps by encouraging export expansion and foreign investment. Investment incentives were passed and processing zones established along the coast, allowing Taiwan to become the largest recipient of foreign capital in the Third World. Taking advantage of the low-cost labor, manufacturing industries began to export labor-intensive products that eventually earned up to $10 billion in foreign reserves, and an experience copied by Vietnam and China decades later when they began to open up their economies. Coca-Cola entered Taiwan, marking the beginning of American cultural presence on the island. In 1968, Premier Zhang Jingguo and Transportation Minister Sun Yun-shun launched 10 major transportation projects, including the Northern Railway crossing the Central Range, the CKS International Airport, the Taichung Harbor, railway electrification, and North-South Superhighway, which proved to be instrumental in the development of the 1970s. Zhang and Sun saw this infrastructure upgrade as the key to furthering Taiwan's export-oriented development. But the projects had to be financed by foreign loans at a time when most people couldn't afford a car and the world was faced with an oil crisis. Premier Zhang convinced skeptical financial officials that it had to be done before it was too late. When the superhighway was opened in 1978, traffic exceeded 10 million rides a year and saturated in less than 5 years, a best proof of infrastructure-driven development. The completion of the new Taichung Harbor and the superhighway, as well as increasing prosperity in the 1980s, preluded an era of modernized highways in Taiwan. The achievement has to be attributed in part to the government's insight in 1979 to transform Taiwan from a labor-intensive to technology-intensive economy. Incentives were offered to encourage development in energy, materials, technology, and automation industries. The world-renowned Hsinchu Science Park was established then, attracting a great number of talents both at home and from abroad. These measures paved the way for Taiwan's dominance in IC and other high-tech electronic industries today. The island is now the world's fourth largest manufacturer of computers. By the 1990s, freight transportation no longer depended solely on railways and highways. Airlink transportation has become increasingly important for the fast-paced trading of the new century, and land transportation is now experiencing a third revolution. From the island's first railway built in 1884 and the North-South Superhighway, which opened in 1978, to the high-speed railway for the new millennium, transportation is getting ever faster, with a direct impact on the way people move and the development of cities. In 1991, the Southern Railway was completed, the last stretch of the round-the-island rail system. The largest BOT project in Taiwan was announced in 1997. Over the decades, Taiwan's population has grown to 28 million. Increasingly, the two superhighways and frequent flights on the west coast are unable to meet the demand for faster traffic. In this age of competitiveness and efficiency, bring more economic benefits and free time to do what we want to do. Under these considerations, the high-speed railway project was launched at the end of the 20th century. North-south travel will be reduced to just 90 minutes, transforming the cities and towns around the island into a one-day living circle and reshaping their future developments.
我更期盼就是未来这2-3年，我看到我们台湾高铁的高速火车，驰骋在西部平原的走廊上， 那个时候，当我坐着高速铁路的火车经过新竹这个标段的时候，我想，我以一个隧道老兵的心境来讲，我现在的一切辛苦都值得了。
This project is another one. It's different than anything I've done before. Normally we do a segmental job. This is full span precast. Very, very big units, 750 ton. This is never boring, always a challenge.
我们测量人员从这个进场的时候看到的是一片原始森林，那等到这个工程整个做完之后呢，它可能是一条非常气势磅礴的这个成果。另外，我们也会感觉到说，那种物换星移我们无形中会对大自然和对我们这片土地有更加的珍爱。
特别我自己做的那个范围那地方一起去看带我的那个家族那个做好以后，我们都可以看，带别人去看然后自己也可以做，可以利用那东西很好。
而这个 BOT 的经营方式是未来10年、15年我们国家里面必须走的一个模式。我希望我们台湾高铁公司的经验能够给国家带来一个非常良好的示范。
那么它在投资的这个期间里面，它可以6年期间可以增加的这个产值将近3997亿。所以等于说高铁这个工程呢，它在动工的期间、兴建的期间，就会对台湾的国民经济产生很重要的影响。
Time does not stop for anyone, but those who have contributed their efforts will be remembered. Everyone working for the high-speed railway project is a witness of the new era in Taiwan's transportation history. An achievement of collective efforts, the new system will create greater prosperity for us and generations to come.